Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Tattoo Mentor podcast. This week on the podcast we have Ant and Patrice from Murda Tattoo on Long Island. We got some great reviews and a lot of downloads for the first 2 episodes, and I just want to thank you guys. Well over 600 downloads for the first 2 episodes since June 30th, so we couldn't be happier. So once again, I just want to thank you guys. Keep checking in every other Monday for a new episode. And let's start the show. So how's everybody doing? 2 weeks have gone by, and it has been exciting to get all the downloads and get your email feedback. It's humbling, man. I really did not expect to get 600 downloads since June 30th because we really didn't syndicate or advertise beyond, the typical stuff, Facebook, Instagram, friends, throwing it up on iTunes, which, that's like a needle in a haystack, really. What I want to get across to you is you can help me and help us, the people who care about and are working on the podcast, by, if you like it, go to iTunes, hit the 5-star review if you feel we deserve a 5-star review. And even if you don't, you're just a kind-hearted individual looking to do a random act of kindness. And leave a review, because it's come to my attention that to get up in the charts, it's really not just how many downloads. It's downloads plus reviews plus star ratings is like Apple's little algorithm dealio that they use. I get my own statistics through the company we use to host the files, but ultimately, as far as podcasting is concerned, iTunes is still the big mammoo, so we definitely want to be present and be on iTunes. The good thing about it right now is if you search tattoo on the podcast section of iTunes, we do come up quite quickly in like the top 6 or 10. You'll see the Tattoo Mentor podcast. So you can email us at tattoomentorpodcast@gmail.com. The website for everything related to the podcast is tattoomentor.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Tattoo Mentor. I'm sorry, at Tattoo Mentor Podcast. You can follow my Twitter at Tattoos by Keith. My Instagram at Tattoos by Keith. My Facebook is facebook.com. Sorry, guys. Facebook.com/Keith.Caramello. If you cannot spell that, like most of my teachers in the public school system, please just go to the tattoomentor.com page. All the social networking links are at the top. I continue to work on the page. There'll be more and more content on the page. And the links to the guests, if you want to follow up and check out the guests or contact any of the guests, are also in the descriptions of their episodes on the page. So trying to keep everything as thorough as possible. Right now, like I said, I'm shooting for every 2 weeks with my tattooing and the other projects that I do. This is about as frequent as I can go right now. I really do want to go more frequently, but we'll see how that goes. But I really appreciate the feedback. The comments seem to be non-tattoo people who are not in the tattoo industry really have been enjoying it, which is what I was hoping for, because we're not just shooting for like a tattoo artist for and by tattoo artists thing, but we want tattoo artists to be able to enjoy it, people who are tattoo fans to be able to enjoy it, but just people who are in the same demographic who enjoy comedy and pop culture and new media to latch on and just have fun with the conversations. You'll see as it goes on, it gets looser and looser. I'm learning more about interviewing people. I'm learning more about what I do and don't want to do on the mic. But that's something, I almost want some feedback on that. I really haven't decided what to do. I mean, it is the podcast world, so it's wide open. We can curse. We can, pretty much do whatever we want. It's unregulated. It's total DIY. It's one of the reasons I love the whole concept of podcasting. That being said, there are certain things that I say in conversation to friends, joking and kidding around, that sometimes when I hear them played back, I'm like, do I want to put that out there? Do people who don't know me, are they going to get that it's humor? And it's not hateful and it's not whatever. And it's like, I'm a big comedy fan. I'm sorry, I'm smacking my lips. I'm watching the meters pop when I do that. I'm a huge comedy fan. There are some comics who kind of go there, some who don't. Being that I'm from the Northeast, from the Bronx, our sense of humor is pretty edgy and weird, and can go from the completely silly and ridiculous to some stuff that's pretty damn dark. But it's really all in the name of just having a laugh. So consider this my disclaimer. My disclaimer is that this podcast, unlike many of the other things I do, which are strictly for education, I'm not going to say there won't be some educational aspects to this podcast, but this podcast is for entertainment. I want it to entertain you guys, you girls, more than I want it to educate. If you want to be educated, I have other things out there. I've got the DVDs. I've got the online courses that I teach. This is like I said in the previous episode, this is like my lame midlife crisis. It's my podcast. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to have my friends in. I'm going to have people you know. I'm going to have people you don't know. It really doesn't matter, because my criteria is who's going to be fun to talk to for about an hour, and who do I think you'll have fun listening to me talk to for about an hour. That being said, that kind of dovetails right into today's interview. Ant and Patrice, two guys I met at my... I was privileged to do the first tattoo workshop at the teaching studios in Bushwick, Brooklyn, pardon me. Completely different than New Brunswick. But Rob Zeller invited me to do it. I was honored to do it. We had a great turnout. It was a great day. And I'm trying to transcribe the video, break it into something I can get to you guys, whether it be a book, an ebook, or it's a little dicey to make a video product, but I do want to get the information out because it was a great exchange and it's a lot of information. It was an 8-hour intensive workshop. At that workshop, I met these guys and bonded with them, and just to see the effort that they were putting in, their level of dedication and concentration, just the fact that they spent the time and the money to come out to such an intense workshop. And, quite frankly, I have a curiosity about what it's like to be a black tattoo artist. It's something I've never had to deal with. It's something I never will have to deal with. But obviously, in some ways, it must be an uphill battle, whether it's dealing with a lot of dark skin in your shop, in your neighborhood, or it's just the fact that you've come into something that was predominantly white for years. These things, I'm ignorant to them. I'll admit I have no idea. So I do have a curiosity. Hopefully you have that same curiosity. But the one thing I learned from these guys is we all feel the same way, man. You got a little talent. No matter who you are, you're going to have to work your ass off. So check out Patrice and Ant. Hey, everybody. So I'm here with Pat and Ant from Murda, Inc.
What up? What up?
How's everybody doing?
What's going on, guys? Also, give us your full names, because I don't even think I know Ant's last name, and it's hard to pronounce Patrice's last name.
My last name is Hunter. Pretty simple. It's like that show back in the day.
And Patrice Pamphile.
Okay, cool. And tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about Murda Inc. When did the shop open? Give us some of the history of Murda Inc.
I opened about 8 years ago. I decided to move out east, and I kind of was in a whirlwind. I kind of got married, opened the shop and everything at the same time, and it was a big jump in my life, actually. I was working with my mentor, Nike, for 5 years at Murda Inc. 2 in Hempstead, and that's where I kind of got started out at with my career, and I just decided to take it a little further and get my own shop. So it's been a good experience so far. I have no complaints, just the business end of things, you got to get that together. It's not just tattooing when you own a shop.
Right. So tell us a little bit about what it was like to work with Nike. I know I've met him. He's a real nice guy. He's been around since, I don't know, right? Like the early 90s tattooing, and maybe even 80s with his airbrush work.
Yeah, I started out as Shirt Kings in the 80s.
How'd you actually stumble onto him? Like, what was your first meeting like? When did you meet up with him?
I actually had a friend that I worked with bring me to him. He was I was always drawing at work, and he was like, "Oh, you should come talk to my friend. He has a little cartoon. He owns a tattoo parlor." And I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. And he took me down to the shop, and I saw the artwork and was amazed and kind of just inspired by everything. And he took me under his wing initially for a cartoon that we had coming out called Wildlife, and it's still in the works and stuff. But
so it had nothing to do with tattooing initially.
Had nothing to do with tattooing. I didn't even want a tattoo, to be honest. I just came out of school. I was doing 3D animation and a little bit of graphic design, so that was really my main focus.
Oh, that's cool. What school did you go to?
It's the Art Institute of Philadelphia.
Oh, look at you, all fancy. So that's cool, man. What was describe your art school experience? Is that something you would recommend to someone pursuing art, or was it worth it? Was it not worth it? What did you get from it? What did you not get from it?
I feel it was worth it. In order to grow, you got to meet new people. You got to experience different art. And everybody has different styles. People that kind of stay narrow-minded don't grow too much. Philadelphia was a great place. It's real artsy, so that was definitely a benefit. I lived across the street from the Philadelphia Museum, so.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, no, yeah. Philly is an awesome town. It's it's definitely. I mean, it's like New York, but it's not New York.
Exactly.
And it's the art school is great. And there's the museum scene and the gallery scene, and just like a
lot of culture.
Exactly,
in general, right?
It's got that that heavy city culture, that kind of like electric feeling, like Manhattan has, but in a different way,
smaller scale.
Yeah, I like Philly, man. I like going to Philly.
Yeah,
I like Philly till about 10:30 at night.
Yeah, exactly. That's when the vibes change a little bit.
Yeah, all the what is it with the biker gangs in Philly? They're like the Japanese motorcycle biker gangs, and what is that? And it's still I think it's one of the only places left in America where you could walk and just see straight up pimps on the street in like full on pimp outfits, like from an old movie.
Right.
Yeah, they got like chalices, and I mean, this is hey, I'm not going to claim I know anything about that. But what is it about Philly, you think specifically that makes it such a like a cultural center, but also kind of a subversive one, kind of an edgy cultural center?
I don't know. It's a variety of people, and when I was going to school there, I think that first year I wasn't too hype. I was kind of shocked by everything coming from New York, and
right.
It was like, this is going on over here, this is going on over there, and it was just really a learning experience for me as far as the people and trying to figure out exactly what's the best words as far as your question is concerned.
Well, don't try and figure out fucking big words, okay? Just use the words you know. Okay,
it's not about big words.
And we know you went to art school. You went to college in Philly. We got it. You don't have to
I went to more than just. I went to SVA. I went to FIT.
We're getting the whole.
Yeah, we won't talk about
getting
that.
The resume now.
Yeah, we'll leave that one alone.
So no, we don't leave shit alone, man. That'd be a boring podcast. So tell us, you went to SVA. What was that like? Why did you try and hide it under the rug just now?
Oh, because I couldn't afford it anymore. That first year killed me, man. That first year killed me, honestly. Being an art student is rough. You know, I definitely had great parents behind me, you know, support wise and everything. But at the end of the day, it's still kind of rough when it comes to, you know, when you pay for a private institution, it is not cheap.
No, man, I can relate. I should have gone to art school, so some say, but most of my I probably should have. But the schooling I went to music school.
Right.
Look at Patrice on his fucking phone over there, man.
Oh, man, I didn't know it was.
Damn, man. That's so unprofessional, man. I'm sorry, Ant. I apologize, man.
It's all right.
But so yeah, but you know what? There's a lot of there's a lot of young people who listen to this, and I think it's good to get that perspective about school versus non-school, because, you know, there are a lot of artists who are like, oh, man, you know, I don't need school, and, you know, why am I going to art school? I can teach myself. So, again, what would you say to somebody who's maybe, you know, 17 to 19 in that range, trying to make that decision about whether or not as an artist it's worth it?
Well, you got to try something first before you shoot it down and say you don't need it, and say, you know, I'm going to teach myself.
Right.
I'm learning every day. I've been tattooing 11, 12 years, and I'm still learning every day.
Awesome.
The same thing goes, just even if I was just an artist, which I am, you know, you learn new stuff every day. They have new techniques that come out. You know, you try it. I wouldn't tell anybody not to go to college because you're a great artist already, because you still have so much learning room to go. I was a teacher assistant at my old high school in Freeport, and I remember there was this kid that I used to watch over a lot, and he was a great artist, but he thought that nothing else outside of him was better than him. And I used to try to explain to him, like, you know, there's somebody right now that's better than you in their basement going a little bit harder, you know, trying to draw everything that you're drawing also. And I saw him like 4 years later, and he told me, he said, everything you told me is so true. You know, he went out there, he experienced more, met new artists, went to school, and his work is like 10 times better. And not saying it wasn't prior, but he had that time to grow, and he was growing with people. When you're growing by yourself, you can only go so far.
Right. Patrice, why is he looking at you when he's saying all this? Are you that guy?
Yeah, I might be that stubborn guy. I definitely was that stubborn guy for a little bit.
What's your feeling about? Did you go to did you have any formal training? That's okay, Patrice. Just check your calls and hit the mic really hard when it's time to talk.
Believe me, I'm not even worried about my phone right now. But
but I'd like, you know, what do you have any formal art education? And also, what's your feeling about, you know, pursuing, you know, furthering your art education, or, you know, professional development as an artist, and your, you know, your opinion on that, and your advice maybe to younger people coming up.
Sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I went to St. John's. I went to St. John's in Queens. Very prestigious school. It's
if you do say so yourself.
If I do say so myself. You know, the faculty there was fantastic. I went for fine arts and graphic design. I loved it. I did a little bit of photography, a little bit of mixed media. Definitely tried to get as much out of it as I could. I would definitely recommend at least some formal education. I mean, as Ant was explaining, it's really a matter of really experiencing different cultures, different media, different outlets for your art. I mean, I've come across people who have You know, they want to just be an artist, pen and paper artist, and they don't really know anything outside of that. So as far as photography or as far as mixed media, where they can branch out and really maybe even that might even be their focal point, where they can specialize in something that somebody else, you know, hasn't even touched on. So I would certainly say you should basically open your mind and branch out and just experience different things.
Cool, man. Yeah, no, I really dig the way Ant put it earlier. You know, instead of saying, yeah, do it, or no, don't do it, I really like that attitude of don't have an opinion until you've had the experience, which is that's really cool, man. I think that you're one of the first people I've ever heard like respond to that question in that way. So that's a really unique take on it, and I think it's a really positive take as well, because you know, you never know until you know, like they say. It's
so true. I tell you, at the end of the day, I never wanted to tattoo, and Nike told me, you're a great artist, this is another form of art you can learn.
What a liar.
And I tell you, he was like, yo, you need to do this. And I tried it out. I tattooed myself first. You know, I watched him for like a month or two, and I tried it out, and now I'm 12 years later. Never thought this is what I'd be doing, you know? Right. And I love every day of it, you know?
And you'll find that out, too. I think a lot of artists actually, tattoo artists primarily, kind of fall into it. I don't think anybody goes to school thinking, oh, I'm going to become a tattoo artist when I get out of here.
You know what? Yes and no. I think you got my generation. I'm a little older than you guys. When I started tattooing, I don't want to swing it back on myself, but you know, just for a point of reference, when I started tattooing in the early '90s, there was a lot of, you know, bikers and guys who didn't want to turn wrenches or stock shells at Pathmark, and their mom told them they drew 3 good pictures in their life, and they bought equipment and started tattooing. Because if you listen to, if you go back, or if you guys already have, you listen to Willie's interview, you know, and then Willie is 20 years my prior, right. And I asked him the same question: how many artists were there? And he said, not many.
Right.
But now you've got, I think, you know, and disagreement with me if you want, but you know, I'm right. But it's my show, so I'm totally right.
You're right.
But I was saying to Willie, it's like we live in a world now where like people come out of art school like, all right, I just graduated friggin' San Francisco Academy of Art, I'm going to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Right. It's like that world wasn't there 5, 10, 20, 40 years ago.
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
so yeah, okay. I see where you're
I
where
agree.
you're coming from.
Kids.
Yeah, the new generation certainly, yeah, because they do see it, and obviously tattooing has become so saturated, so it's been put so much in the spotlight at this point that people will literally come out of school and say, okay, tattooing is the thing that I want to do, and this is where I want to pursue.
You see how easy it was to sway him over to my way of thinking right there. I just told him I'm very persuasive.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it.
It's a gift. I'd like to share that with you guys, but it's just a gift, you know.
You know, I'm a '80s baby, so I'm thinking at it I'm looking at it from my generation.
All right, so just you can just call me old if you want to. I bust your chops. You want to call me old? That's fine. I know. I'm becoming like the Buddha of tattooing. I got the stomach. I got the age.
Yo, but that's a good thing.
All you need to do is cut the hair, and you'll be all right.
But yeah, but that MSG kills me though.
Yeah.
Jeez. So what brought you two guys together? I know a love for each other's soft lips.
Yeah, right.
and an urge to spoon at night. No, but what brought Patrice and Ant? How did your lives cross paths? Was you friends as kids or no?
I knew Pat's brother. Like, I knew Pat also because he came to the shop prior and got tattooed. But I graduated with his brother, and Pat came to me one day and he was like, I really want a tattoo. I don't know if you're giving apprenticeships. And I was like, yeah. I said, because I know you. I said, we can do it. I said, I have no problem with it. And I knew Pat was a great artist already. He definitely was all about his art, and he was focused and he wanted to do it. So this is the thing, like I could kind of see the drive in his eye. And Pat came, he was going to school full time, he was working, and he was still coming to the shop. So he had dedication. So
yeah, that's pretty hardcore. You know, that's another thing that's rough is you get asked, you know, when guys come to you and ask you now, oh man, Ant, you own a shop. I want to come. I want to learn how to tattoo. But you know, I'm married and I got a kid and I work at Pep Boys and you know. What do you tell a guy like that that's already got that load on his life and he's coming in with no experience and he wants to, you know, basically start tattooing?
I tell them they're not going to be tattooing right away, number one.
Right.
And it's going to be at least 2 years before you really make any money. Especially in Suffolk County, you know, Board of Health, your apprenticeship is like 2,000 hours. So if you pan out everything you just said, you know, the wife, kids, and having a job, it's going to take you about 2 years to complete that apprenticeship. And then, you know, and most people are not going to hang out that long, to be honest with you. I have an apprentice now with no kids, one job, and he is barely there. And it's like, you know, you told me you wanted this and I don't see it. And I always give him the same example, like Pat was going to school full time, working full time.
You point to that brass bust of me in the shop. You're like, you see that guy right there, the one with the lights on
That's
it.
why we're here.
The one that's slowly rotating with the strobe light with the big brass plaque under it. That's the guy. No. But no, man, I mean, shit, it's true, though. Man, don't they think everybody thinks it's so easy?
They do think it's easy. They see you doing it, and they're like, oh, I could do that. I'm like, are you serious?
Sure. Once again, it's just so in your face nowadays. So people see, you know, a 15-minute tattoo on TV.
Yeah, they think they're getting their whole back done in 15 minutes.
They think that, you know, they think they can do a back piece in 15 minutes, you know, and it's just not realistic. And it's unfortunate that's the mindset that people come in with. So it's pretty sad sometimes. Actually, there are a lot of stories behind that.
I'll tell you what. You tell me if you get this. Now, I don't know if people can tell from from your voices. Two Jewish guys like you in the tattoo business. It must have been really difficult.
Oh man, it was a cakewalk.
Yeah.
But so I just want to. The thing is, do you? I'm wondering if you get the same. We all must just get the same people. Do you get the guy? This is, you know, my shop. You know, the third incarnation of my shop is it's a custom shop, and that was Ant's bling rattling.
Sorry.
He's got a big star, David. Do you guys get this guy? I want to get sleeved. Okay, what do you want? I don't know. I just know I want to get sleeved.
Yeah, I get it all the time. Do what you want. I'd be like, I might feel like doing roses today. Is that what you want? No, I don't want any roses. Then you got to give me some type of direction. I don't care if you tell me I like cars, motorcycles, money, but you have to give me some type of direction. I can't jump in your head and be like, oh, this guy likes this and likes that, you know. But
yeah, it's funny how that one changes too. It goes. I steal this old Dave Lum line. Like Dave Lum was like the first tattoo video I think that ever existed. And we got it out of the back of Spalding and Rogers. It was on VHS. Anyway, you know, real cranky old dude, but he's like responsible for, I admire the guy, huge influence on me, responsible for the kind of new school style. Okay. But Dave Lum, sidebar aside, I take this thing he said, and he said it in a different context. But anyway, somebody comes and say, oh, do whatever you want. I go, well, today I want to do a Black Panther with a big pink cock on it. and the guy looks at you like, I don't know, man.
I don't know about
I'm
that.
not really down with that. But yeah, so I always thought that's, you want to snap somebody back to reality, just say the most far out thing you can say.
Right. Yeah, but that's a piggyback off for that. It's essentially, you know, you get the same client but they also want it that day. You know,
I want it
they
right
want
now,
they want to sleep
right now.
that day.
Yeah.
Or they want that moment, and once again, they don't know that it's a process. It's multiple sessions. It's a lot of drawing, a lot of
But Kat Von D did it in a half hour.
it's a lot of time.
I'm like, that's
Yeah.
TV.
There's definitely way more time involved than a 15-minute session.
How long did you, Ant, work for Nike before you opened your own shop? And I'm just curious, what was that discussion like? Because the Murda Inc. Or Murda, is it Murda or Murder?
Murda.
So you guys are
With an
Murda.
A, yes.
Okay, right. It's very urban.
You got to keep it hood.
Yeah, that was urban, which is like code word for black, right? Is that how it works in the tattoo community?
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a stigma behind that.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of colorless, to be honest.
Yes.
But, I don't think if I put up, if there was no picture of me and my work was up, I don't think they would know if I would. Well, maybe with some pieces, but because that's what the person got. But
We're all the same color on the podcast, then. Just remember.
Yeah.
We're all black in here, right?
and we're all pink on the inside. But so what? Yeah, no, I agree, man. It sucks that I've had this conversation in private with you guys. I don't know, why I'm so curious about it, but I am because I just hate to see. When I got in, man, the guys, like, when they still could have control,
Sure.
there was a lot of control, and they didn't want black dudes tattooing, they didn't want women tattooing, they didn't want gay people tattooing. If anybody came into the shop who wasn't a freaking white guy, it was like, we ain't teaching them.
Sure.
We ain't teaching that guy. We ain't teaching that girl. We ain't teaching that guy. He's homosexual or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's true though. I remember being in Philadelphia. I went to a tattoo parlor. I had drew a picture. I wanted to get it tattooed, and the guy I had went to, he was like, "Yo, man, this is nice." Like, he told me how much the price was. I was, college student, couldn't really afford it. But
Right.
he was like, he was like, "Yo, this work is crazy." He's like, "Who drew this?" And I was like, "I did." He was like, he's like, "This is really nice." I was like, "Yeah, you think you could teach me how to tattoo?" He was like, everything was
Conversation changed.
yeah, conversation totally changed. My work was great, but he was like, nah.
no habla inglés.
He was like, "We don't do those things over here."
Yeah, no, it fucking that's shitty, man, and it's nice to see that it really is. It's so weird, like there's being tattooed and doing tattoos and the tattoo culture, which was stigmatized for years because it was
Only bikers
and hookers
jail,
and military guys, and then you've got the whole fraternity of old school tattooing who wasn't going to let anyone in from the outside, kept all the secrets concealed.
Sure.
Right.
And then, excuse my sniffing, and then it's allergies, not the good sniffing. But don't do drugs, kids. Then the other aspect is now it's more culturally open, but the problem is then you've got the case of over openness.
Yeah, because you got everybody. And
Everybody can go ride. You can go on. You can go on Amazon
Yeah, I was
and buy
about to say
tattoo
that.
equipment. You can go on eBay and buy tattoo equipment. So I know of the kind of underground activity that goes around in my area, which is incredible considering you can hit 20 shops with a rock from my shop. How these guys still need to tattoo out of their houses is beyond me.
Yeah.
So out by you guys, and in an area that's more culturally diverse than this area, that's not a bad thing to say. It is the way it is.
No, absolutely.
Is there a lot of underground tattooing going on by you, and are you aware of it? Do these guys come in and try and get jobs at your shop?
I've never particularly had a guy come and try and get a job at my shop that works out of their house. I've had people come that got tattooed by them and then got tattooed in our shop and was like, "Oh, maybe you should try and get him over here? And I'm like, nah, not really, because the work is not. And I'm all about helping anybody who,
Right.
you know, that wants to learn, but you don't want to learn if you're staying in your house and
Right.
you never came up there.
Right.
You know, we have.
But you know what I think? I want to jump in for a
Go
second
ahead.
because I think you're going to agree with me, and I think it's another good thing for young people to hear is we all started somewhere.
Absolutely.
And I don't think there's anybody at this table who hasn't done a tattoo at their house when they were in a jam and they had nowhere to work and had to do what they had to do,
Sure.
what they
Right,
had
right,
to do,
absolutely.
myself included.
Absolutely.
Sure.
However, like you said, when you're at a certain point and you're saying, the times I tattooed out of my house was when I couldn't get a job in a shop. I was out there pursuing it. I was at a shop, then I was let go.
Right.
Had to work. Then I got in the shop. As soon as I get in the shop, I'm not doing tattoos in my house anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Why would I want to do something where I live? I know there's a risk. There's a risk to me.
Exactly. Everybody
There's a
knows
risk to
where you
everybody
live.
involved. And it's like you become like the local weed dealer, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, it's like,
Knock on his door.
What's the password? That
hey, Dave. Dave, open up. I got the stuff. But, yeah, so you're right, man. I think, you know, what they don't realize, though, and I've had to pull the plug on certain people that I was helping. Like
Right.
you said, one of the reasons, you know, we got connected is through seminars and professional development. And I liked you guys immediately and your attitude. And I could tell people with a good heart, and you guys come across like good-hearted guys.
Right.
But I don't think young people who do tattoo more in the pirate sense, where they're just staying out of in their house out of selfishness, wanting to keep the money.
Yeah, that's
not
exactly.
want, you know. They don't understand when they come in and ask for a legitimate job, what they're doing at home. That, you know what it is? They don't get the concept that it's a certain amount of. I'm trying to say this perfectly, and I'm going to just fuck it up. So let me just say it.
Yeah, just don't use the big words.
It's exactly, exactly. I only went to one college, and I didn't stay. The thing is, it's a certain amount of disrespect to the profession
Right.
when you're doing it in a self-centered, selfish way. Not out of necessity. Like some people out there, like we said, got a tattoo out of the house out of necessity for a brief period of time.
Right.
It's a resting place or a stepping stone between places. Hey,
Absolutely. There's nothing you can do about that.
but don't you feel that it's kind of disrespectful when people are just doing home shops because they don't want to fall in with the whole professional shop system?
yeah, and I tell you that's a lot of times. I know some that's their key point. I don't want to give somebody half. I'm like, listen, man, at the end of the day, your clientele is going to grow more in a shop than it would ever you being out of your house. Yeah, you can tattoo the local people out of your house, or if you're tattooing minors or whatever else you're doing because nobody knows because you can't do it in a shop, you know, then, you know, that's on you. But you're not going to be around too long. We had a guy that was tattooing out of his house, and we knew his work well. The people from Board of Health knew his work well, and they knew the problems, you know, that were going on, you know, and it's like you're playing with people's lives. Tattooing is like surgery, so it's nothing to really play with. You're dealing with blood, needles, and everything else.
I always thought it was so funny the way. I'm sorry, Pat.
Go ahead.
But you know, at my show, so I'll cut you off. Of course. But he's so nice, man. Do you ever wonder what's going on in Pat's head?
Yeah, he's gonna shoot everybody up.
Yeah, I mean, he's so nice to everybody. He just keeps it all
Nah, he is.
locked down. But this kid's gonna fucking snap one day, and it's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, Pat is. I always tell him that. I say he is so genuine. Like I always tell him. I said, "Yo, I'm just like you to a certain point, and then I lose it. And once I lose it, they don't want to be bothered with me. They're like, "Oh, this guy is blue. He's bugging out right now."
Dude, I got a friend a lot like Pat, and white guy. No, a lot like Pat, and I'm a dick. I'm sorry. It's like I'm nervous. It's like, what do I say? What can I say that's appropriate
and not say?
Yeah, if we didn't have microphones on, I'd say whatever the hell I want.
We know.
But yeah,
It's the first time I was like, "Damn, should I curse? Not curse?"
no, it's a podcast. You can say whatever you want. But no, and it's funny because it's like the quiet guys, man, that just like they hold it all in. And I won't mention the guy's name. He's a guy I love like a brother.
Right,
and
right. He knows you're talking about him right now.
Oh, absolutely. When he hears the story, he's going to know it's him. And when I interview him, I'll leave it up to him whether or not to link the story back to himself.
Right.
But I was responsible for him missing a plane. And I felt like shit. And I was like, man, I gotta take care of this guy. So I'm beeping him and not beeping him. Well, hello.
You were.
How long ago? I got my time machine. 1.21 gigawatts. So I'm texting him and I'm calling him and I'm like, oh man, I got to get this guy. I'll pay for the car service and I'll pay for the plane ticket upgrade. And he wouldn't pick up. Didn't hear from him. Wouldn't answer text. 2 weeks later, I talked to the guy. And I find out like his way of handling the breakdown was he walked away from the counter at the airport, checked into the hotel right there in Jamaica near JFK.
Sure.
He pulled the covers up over his head and he went to sleep until the next plane came.
Right.
Because he said, if I would have picked up the phone, you would have caught it all. Like, not just our problem, but probably like
Pablo's from years ago.
I'm about to unload 2010 through 12 on you.
Oh God!
And I was just like, oh man.
Remember that time you stepped on my suit?
I said it was okay. That shit was not okay.
You burnt the toast. But yeah, man. So we'll work through this, Patrice. Just everybody loves you. You're among friends, man. You can let it out a little at a time. Just let a little steam off a little at a time. It's like
I tell him,
try to vent through the microphone.
It's that little thing on top of the pressure cooker that goes.
The steam vent.
That's what kept Grandma from blowing her face off.
Yeah, you're very right. That's a life lesson.
Very much so.
But anyway, before I so rudely interrupted you, we were talking about kids and tattooing on a house and how it's kind of disrespectful to the industry and they don't realize it, and sharing, profit sharing with an existing shop. Do you remember what you had to say about that?
Well, no, I mean, I guess that's once again piggyback off of what Ant was mentioning, was that it's really more so that, your clientele will increase and actually your money will increase too, ultimately, because, look, you're going to have a lot of fly-by-night clientele, in and out of your house. And, you're charging them anywhere from $10, $30, $40, whatever the case is.
Right.
And, in that same time, you could do 20 of those.
Whose
and make
house are you going to? 10, 20, 40?
I've heard it all. I've heard every story. I've
you know what? There's a certain right. There's a certain amount of disrespect that lies in that too, man. It's like,
you want to tell me? Yeah.
Don't charge $20 for something we're charging $100 for, man.
Exactly.
You're knocking the legs out of the business you're trying to be a part of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
but I think if shop owners or even people that are like really into the tattoo industry explain that to them, because a lot of them don't even know that. They don't. It's
a lot of who? Who are we talking about? The clients or the artists?
The artists, the underground artists.
The underground artists. They don't know.
Right.
They just like, I'm just getting this money and I didn't have to work 10 hours.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? But nobody's explaining to them, like, most people are like, get the fuck out of my shop with that shit, and then that's it,
Right. And then they develop that resentment towards the established tattoo studio, and they're like, fuck those guys. I'll just keep working out of my house.
Right.
But if somebody explains it to them, and I always feel like, if you don't know, you're not ignorant yet,
Right. I'm going to use that. I'm going to print that on a T-shirt. That's copyright, Custom Culture Inc., Incorporated, Circle R, Circle C, TM. Okay, now it's on tape. But that's awesome, man. And hopefully they're listening and they're getting some of that information from you guys today, which is really cool of you. I appreciate our friendship and
always.
Where am I going? I'm getting really sappy and weird right now.
It's all right.
I love you, not in a gay way, like Vikings.
Pat told me, he was like, Keith is doing a podcast. You want to know if you want to be on it? I'm like, man, I'm there. I was like, I don't know what I got to do. I had to drop my son off at the airport this morning to go to Chicago. So I'm like rushing back, like, yeah, I'm gonna get here right on time.
Luckily, your son caught the plane, right?
Yeah.
Why don't I just have a picture of him with his son in like a cat carrier? Just go up to the luggage guy and be like, "Here, I got to do a podcast."
Just put it on the belt.
Yeah, just snap on this little water bottle on the side just so you could drink on his way there.
Yep. But I love my kids. They're always supportive of the tattoos in the shop and everything. So,
well, that's good, man. That actually leads me to a question I've been asking family guys who have. It's weird. I had said to Joe Casal, a lot of guys ask me, and I think they're only asking me because I'm happily married and now I'm clean and sober and,
right.
For however many years, 15, 16 years. They're like, Keith, man, how do you be like a regular guy and be a tattoo artist? How can I be like a family guy, a hardworking guy, and be a tattoo guy? Because all they see on TV and on the internet is like everybody with rockstaritis.
The party life. So.
Yeah, everybody's on the tour, quote.
Right,
I'm doing air quotes on a podcast. That's pretty useless. But everybody's on the tour, and it's like, how do you hold down
family and
so I would love to hear your take on that.
It's hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. I luckily I can tell you the foundation that I have at my shop. I have two good guys. I got Pat and Rob, who are in there full time, and when I'm not there, they're running the shop for me and taking care of everything because they know I'm in and out with my kids. At one point in time, I'm in at 10 o'clock in the morning. I pick my daughter up at 2 o'clock off the bus. I don't go back until 6 o'clock when my wife comes home from work. I'm doing homework with them. I'm cooking dinner.
What does your wife do?
She's an assistant principal in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah, my wife was a teacher for years. And Pat, are you married?
No, not yet.
Soon
Come.
Ladies, send your emails to tattoomentorpodcast at gmail.com.
That's all I need right now.
And just include a photo of yourself, not necessarily naked, and we will forward it to Pat. But yeah, he's handsome, girls. Get with it. Listen to that smooth voice. Come on, say something. Say something to the ladies.
He like the quiet storm right now.
I feel like I got to be singing or something. Barry White. Do my Barry White impression.
Oh, do you have one?
No.
Oh, man, don't tease me like that. Don't tease me like that.
No.
That was funny.
I want to get into your brassiere, my dear. Wasn't that what Barry White said?
Oh, man.
Oh, man is right. But, okay, so you're together with your wife. Your wife's a teacher, assistant principal. You guys have kids. How many kids again?
We have two kids, a boy and a girl. We got one on the way right now.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats.
And ages of the kids?
14 and 7. My son is 14, my daughter's 7.
Oh, wow. So, the 14-year-old's getting gnarly, right?
Yeah, a little attitude.
So,
but I love him. It doesn't,
See, now that's got to be rough, too, because, like, I was growing up, 14, 15, I had a horrible attitude.
Yeah.
But my dad was a construction worker, and he was a pretty straight-laced guy, and, all he had to do was either shoot me a look or flash me the back of his hand, and I knew it was like, lock that shit down and be cool.
Yeah.
But when your dad is a tattoo artist, though,
it's like, this guy's laid back, right?
Yeah, it's like, how do you deal with that? Does he does it enter the friend zone a little too much? Or
No, absolutely. No, I'm dad. Nah, there's no friend zone with that one.
We are not friends.
We are not friends. Don't answer me what? Don't do any of that stuff. I am not your friend. You talk to your friends like that. Not that he does, but that's that friend thing. Kids, their parents call them, they're like, what? What, Dad? No. What? Who are you talking to?
And your dad, right? They don't call you aunt or anything like
I'm
that.
Dad.
See, that's a thing Italians have in common with like black families is like, we still say mom, we still say dad.
Right.
I remember growing up, and I had a friend, and I remember he used to like, oh man, George is such an asshole. I'm like,
who's George?
I'm like, who the fuck is George? I said, we got 3 friends. None of them are George. Like, we ain't smoking pot with anybody named George. Who's George?
Right.
Oh, my dad. I'm like, your dad? You call your dad George? He's like, yeah. I'm like, to his face? He's like, yeah.
I've seen it too.
I couldn't even imagine.
I've seen it.
Imagine.
And I was 17, so that's 100 years ago. But anyway. But yeah, no, I mean, that's a, it's a respect thing. And it's great to hear, I've said probably in the podcast and definitely, on other content that I've produced, I always allude to the fact that I couldn't have picked better parents. I had great parents, like you were saying, supportive of my art, just supportive of me creatively. That, oh man, the fact that my own man, I know my own man died worried about me because I was still trying to pursue music professionally.
Right.
And I just, I hope that he sees, the success or at least the survival. He always wanted me to go into art. He actually leaned more to me as an artist, but
Right.
anyway, not to make this about me, but I think parents are key. Patrice, what was your home life like? Did you, not to say that people can't come from a broken home and do great? What was your family life like? Are your parents still together?
Well, no, actually, I am the broken home story. Yeah, I mean, I've never even seen my dad, but my mom raised us all. It was
hold on. Aunt, should we tell?
I'm your father.
Patrice, right behind this curtain over here. Patrice's dad. Come on in.
Oh my God!
We used to do that.
That's a run backstage, right? That's a run backstage like Maury Povich.
I'm pulling my Jerry Springer shit on you. All right, that was completely inappropriate. Go ahead, man. Joe, just do me a favor. Aim into that mic. We want everybody to hear you, especially the ladies.
Certainly.
Oh, see that, ladies? See that bass kick in? That bass kicked in.
Right.
But no, seriously, tell us your
not
background.
Necessarily the broken home story, but my mom raised me and my 4 brothers. I lived with my grandmother, my uncle. This was all in a little shack, you might call it, in Flatbush, Brooklyn. We moved to Long Island, and and I pretty much developed my relationship with art when I moved to Long Island. And
did any of your other did anybody else in your family, brothers or whatever, show any creative tendencies?
My uncle certainly did. I actually learned a lot of I think I garnered a lot of what I got from what I know from him.
What did your uncle do?
Well, he was an illustrator actually and painter. We're from Haiti, and there are a lot of creatives in the culture, and he was certainly one of the. He was a fine artist, and but he never really pursued it, unfortunately. My mom was actually a pretty good artist, also more of a crafts person, but yeah, I mean, certainly a creative culture.
So what was it like when you guys? So did you all move to Long Island together, or you just moved to Long Island individually?
No. We all did together.
How old were you at that point?
I'm gonna tell you, I can never remember. I've been trying to remember myself. I was from Atkinson, right? So that was
5th or 6th grade. You went
5th
there.
and 6th, yeah, about 5th grade, I think.
5th grade. What is that's like 11,
Yeah,
12. Guys are horrible at that. I say to my wife,
However old
5th
you are.
grade, she'll like be like, bam.
However old you are. I don't know how.
I don't even know how old you are in 5th grade, but however old that is, that's how old I was.
Okay, so still in grade school, you come out to Long Island with your family, and what do you remember? What hit you first? Like, what was the artistic lightning bolt that zapped you in the ass, and you were like, I gotta fucking do this, man. I love art.
Well, I think I was always good with putting pen to paper. Even before that, even when I was in Brooklyn, I was certainly good with. I think just I had a creative mindset. I would always, play, the cops and robbers, and with my GI Joes and my Transformers with my brother, and we would always, run along these little stories and have these little drawings that we put together, like our own comic books. And
oh my God, are any of those still around?
Oh man, I wish. I was actually asking my brother a couple of months ago if we still had some of those drawings. I certainly wish we did, but yeah, the old trace and paper kind of thing where we would go in and create our own characters. and I remember in particular we had a team. It was like a it was called the G-Force.
The G-Force.
And
That's original, man.
Yeah, it was along the lines of the X-Men, you know. So we used to play around with that a lot. And
what did the G stand for?
I could not even remember right now.
Gangsta with an A.
Gangsta.
We didn't know about gangster back then, right?
yeah, I don't think it was gangsta.
It was the rated G-Force. We don't curse, and there's no blood.
The church on Sundays and.
Oh my God! I need to. Oh, so, dude, I'm not going past this. Who were the members of the G-Force? I want. Fuck that! I want to know, man.
I gotta tell you, I don't remember the.
Don't fucking plead the fifth.
Yeah,
who were the members of the G-Force, and what were their powers? Or I'll make them up right now.
There was I remember there was one character. He was called Brute.
Brute.
Yeah. And he was like the Hulk of the group.
Of course, yeah.
He was the Hulk of the group, and
he was a brute, right?
This shit was so original.
Yeah, exactly.
We basically ripped off the X-Men.
We exactly did that. Exactly.
So we got Brute, and who else?
Brute.
Who ironically,
man.
he wore Calvin Klein. He didn't wear Brute.
Right.
He was allergic to the smell.
He was allergic to it.
Brutes.
Oh man, I gotta remember. I'm trying to remember. I really can't remember offhand.
That's pretty weak. Team of one.
Yeah. It was at least 5. It was at least 5 members. I should get him on the phone and ask him.
Oh my God!
Get him on the phone.
You know what's funny about that? I could technically we could Skype call him right now, and he'd be on the podcast with us. But
He'd be like, oh shucks, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna give out everybody's links on the log for the episode. So your Facebook or your Instagram, and I'm expecting an update on Facebook or Instagram on the members of the G-Force.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that up. As soon as I'm gonna ask him tonight, and when I find out, I'll definitely post that on Instagram.
I'm gonna literally add to my prayers in bed tonight that there is artwork for the G-Force that will also be posted online.
That'll
be pretty dope.
Definitely be posted up.
My back is empty, man. I am looking for a back piece. We could go
ahead with the
G-Force
Brute.
back piece.
You could get Brute straight in the middle.
Yeah, only if it has Patrice's head.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet Brute looked like Patrice? Because that's the only reason he remembers.
That's the only one he remembers.
Yeah.
That was his alter ego, Brute.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I actually had a teacher in high school who told me just a quick note was that is that you actually always draw yourself in your characters. So
that's most artists, though.
Yeah. So you all actually get features and characteristics of yourself. And
see, now this is we're opening psychological locks here. We're just working through these things with Patrice. We're just working him out right now. We're walking
breaking
the walk,
down, right?
And we're just helping him out, and we're going to work through this together. So his inner anger manifested itself
inner Brute.
in Brute. Oh man, so funny. But so Ant, what was your superhero team when you were a kid?
Oh, I don't even remember, man, to be honest.
What did you used to like to draw when you were a kid? I like this topic. We're going to go on this.
Chucky.
Nah, that was a little older. Chucky was a little older.
But
when
we
I
all
was young,
did
I used
our
to
own
drink.
shit. Did you say when I was younger I used to drink?
No. I used to draw.
I will fucking rewind this thing right now. You said I used to drink.
Nah, never that.
Oh my God! When I edit this, I'm gonna loop that shit.
I used to drink. I used
to drink.
I tell you, I honestly, I think I drew a lot of He-Man when I was little.
Okay.
He-Man.
I really didn't have my own characters too much, but I was always into He-Man, and it was I can't remember the name of the character, but it was like a magazine that was out back in the day. It might have even been with the what was the guy with the Mad? That was the name of it? Mad, the magazine?
Mad Magazine.
Mad Magazine.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember that little character they had.
You sound like an 80-year-old man now.
Yeah, right?
Hey, you remember that magazine? They used to do all those mad things in it. I don't know what it was called. That's my mother in every movie she ever wanted. Keith, could you do me a favor? Could you rent me that movie? I want the movie. I don't know the name of it. There's 3 men and they have a baby. I'm not sure.
3 men and a baby.
There's this movie. It takes place in space. There's a war. I don't know the name of the movie, but could you get me that movie? But what was it about Mad Magazine that you liked?
I believe it was Mad Magazine. It was a character that they had. He was like a kid, but he always had on the outfit with the cape, and it was all yellow. He had like an M on his chest, and I think like the mask over his face, but only like halfway, like to his nose.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think that is Mad Magazine.
That's not
That sounds
Mad.
more like the ambiguously gay duo. Saturday Night Live.
Whoa! He went a little hard right there.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go find that thing. It's gonna be right next to Brute.
Yeah, you're gonna have to clear that up, man, because that might have just been a dream you had when you were drinking.
When I was drinking, right? When I was younger.
Yeah, it's kind of sounds like Budman, but with a yellow outfit, man.
Budman.
But
You're drrinking a 40 and you
Yellow
passed out
outfit.
next to a cooler with a sticker of Budman on it.
jeez.
But wow, it got quiet. Okay.
I just don't drink 40, so I wouldn't know. Never drank one.
All I remember is Spy versus Spy.
Yeah, I'm not into liquor. That's not my thing at all.
What do you like? Meth?
Nah. Nah, the other M. No.
Mustache rides? But all right, let's wrangle this shit back into planet
tattoo.
Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now you and Patrice have met, and we never really got to. You approached Nike. I'm assuming that's how it happened, or maybe he approached you about opening a shop. So tell us that story.
I mean, I approached him. It was I was moving literally out east at the time, and I got a little bit of lawsuit money from a car accident that I had, so I just had this money laying around and nothing to do. So I wasn't going to go spend it on another car or anything foolish like that. I need to invest it in myself and make it last. So I told him, I really want to move. I'm moving out east. I really want to go open my own shop. And, he was like, yeah, that's cool. And even when I got the shop, everything, I bought doubles of everything.
Right.
So for him and for me, just so anytime he wanted to come, whatever it may be, and I named it Murda Inc. 3 out of respect, because I could have went out there and named it anything. It was in Suffolk County. They didn't know anything about Murda Inc.
Now, was he a partial owner, or
No, he didn't want to.
Oh, so there's really no professional affiliation. You just did that because he's the guy who got you started.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I mean, people don't do that stuff anymore, and that's really awesome to hear. And I didn't know that story. I just learned something. So that's really, really cool, man. So now you open up. Did you open up with Patrice? Like, what was the crew like when you first opened up?
I was by myself.
I know that story.
Tattooing every day, all day.
Right.
Hands are swollen. I'm tattooing so much day in, day out, and it just got so crazy. One of my guys that started working with me afterwards, his name is Keto. He was with me for about 2-3 years, and he actually relieved a lot of pressure off of me as far as tattooing everybody. He actually had moved up from Oklahoma, and he was out here, and he showed me his work. Somebody brought him to me and was like, yo, this guy, he's real nice. You should check out his work. I know you in here, you need some help. And, I met him, checked out his work, loved his vibe. He had a good heart and everything. And then we got it going, and we went in there heavy all day, all night. Same way, And
So how long was it just the two of you?
for about 3 years, I believe.
Oh, wow. And how often did Nike come out and work, if at all?
Well, the shop in Hempstead was always crazy, so he never had too much time to actually come out.
Sure.
We talk on the phone more than anything, but to come out and tattoo, he would come out and chill out, just hang out, but
Right.
not to tattoo. I'd go out there and see him, but it's, when you got good people with you, it definitely helps a lot as far as your shop. I'm definitely blessed to have the guys that I've been through. I've had about 2 or 3 disasters, But
That's it?
yeah. But I've it's always been nipped in the bud early, so
Right.
I can't really say it was a true disaster, you know. And you know, more power to them. Like I know right now, the ones I had disasters with, that I know one of them is definitely doing 100 times better and got everything cleared up and
Right.
like they're good to go, and which is a beautiful thing, you know.
Nice. Very cool. So that makes me think of so 3 years with just the two of you, and I'm trying to do the math in my head, but I'm not even going to hurt my head like that. The what is it that's different about? Well, put okay, rewind. Okay, so what have you learned from your experience of owning a shop since day one to now? And would you have done anything differently? And are you doing anything differently than when you first opened up?
When I first opened up, I was brand new as a businessman. You know, I learned a lot from Nike, but I still needed to, you know, be a businessman. So like I said in the beginning, it's kind of hard to be a businessman and tattoo person. So I had to learn how to balance them both out. And things that I'm changing every couple years. I think I've done my shop over like 3 times. I'm about to do it again because I'm just always about change and growth.
Right.
And I learned a lot from people that I've worked with, people that worked with me and I had to let go.
Right.
And it's the one thing I wish I did do is, I guess as far as even my shop, like I'm about to do it over again. You know, the 3 times I've done it over, I just wasn't happy with it. And I feel like I just probably should have taken more time to really map out and lay out exactly what I really wanted to do, or the look that I wanted to be perceived by everybody else when they came in.
Okay.
And, you know, people have come in that haven't been in the shop. I remember like the first time I did it over, somebody wasn't there for, you know, 3 years prior. You know, they come in and like, wow, like you did the shop over. It looks so nice. Everything is so cool, but I'm still not happy, you know?
Right.
And it same thing happens again and again. But I just feel like sometimes I get focused on one thing too much and I lose focus in another. And that comes with the whole family and balancing your job out, you know?
Right. So now, so that's mostly aesthetics, looks, and design of the place. What about business practices themselves? Have you changed the way you do business, either your own workflow or the way you deal with employees or the way you deal with clientele compared to when you first got into the business?
Yeah. Clientele is pretty much the same as far as, you know, how I treat them, because I'm all about customer service. So it's not, I'm never shooting anybody down, but, you know, I try to bring them back to reality if it's something that's kind of off the wall, or whether it be a tattoo that they're trying to get or the pricing, whatever it may be. You know, everybody has a complaint about something. Oh, that's too much money. You can't say that. And you got on $300 pair of sneakers. So we need to go back. Let's reverse right now and tell me that I'm going to give you something that's going to be on your body for life versus those sneakers you're not going to even wear in a year, 6 months, a year, and it's destroyed, you know? But I
tried to, just to cut you off, I
Okay.
know you tried to streamline a lot of...
How rude.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, it's cool.
I know to streamline a lot of his scheduling. I know around his family. I know early on, particularly, I remember his schedule looked like, I can't even tell you what it looked like. It looks crazy now, even today.
Still, right?
But it's certainly more manageable and it's centered around his family and what he has to do, his
Awesome.
priorities. More so,
Yeah, my wife would be like, I'm in the shop 90% of the time and home 10%.
Right.
I just opened a new business though, you know, but she, no matter what, she was still supportive, still behind me. And that's the thing that makes it work, you know?
Yeah, no, happy wife, happy life, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you got to
yeah.
have a good support system. If you are married and you're in the tattoo game, it's rough. It takes a certain type of woman to to be the wife of a tattoo artist. You know, they need to not be jealous, not be oversensitive. Know that, especially if you're a business owner, which you and I are, that they're sharing you
with the world,
with your business. Yeah, you know, because the business, you know, the biggest difference between being a shop artist and being an owner is when you're a shop artist, you can clock out and go home and forget things, and when you're a shop owner
24/7.
Yeah, you're fucking dreaming about
Yep.
shit. But Patrice, what about you? What would you say? Excuse me. Oh, you guys are boring me. No. What would you say is different about when you now as an artist, as a business person, and between now and when you started? What have really been the biggest shifts, if any? Would you have done anything differently? Maybe what are your goals, your short-term goals, long-term goals? Because, you know, we've got a different perspective here. You know, Ant being a business owner and you being just kind of, you know, we're all pretty much freelance artists.
Sure. But a conscious observer.
Yeah.
So it's, well, I mean, I see it every day, what it goes through and the ups and downs and the juggling, just with clientele and the employees. You know, there's always something going on.
He already said there's only you and one other guy, so we all know who you just threw under the bus.
There's 8 million stories, but 8 million stories. But
hi, Rob. We love Rob.
Nah, we do.
Yeah, everybody in the shop.
I couldn't do it without neither one of them, man. Both of them,
Now we all get along. It's all love.
So let me get this train back on the tracks.
Yep.
Where are you at now artistically, do you think, Patrice, compared to where you were when you came into the tattoo business?
Wow. Well, I've reconstructed my style. Well, at least 20 times over since starting with Anthony. I remember I used to be a little bit more. How would you put it?
Hard-headed.
Hard-headed, stubborn.
Oh my God, that's not what he was gonna say.
It looked like he was trying to find a different word.
Yeah. I used to be a little bit more conservative when it came to my drawing style. And
what do you mean by that? No nipples.
Well,
what does that mean?
Well, not even so much. It was more in that I had an idea of how I wanted the art to look, and that was just how it was going to look, no matter what. So I wasn't really allowing myself to be as open-minded as I was explaining before.
Was this a conflict with clients? Is it like you would draw something and they would come in and want maybe changes or something about the look they weren't 100% pleased, and you just be like, you know, screw you, this is how I'm doing it? I mean, because there's guys like that.
Yeah, I think some of that had to do with it. You know what? It was, I mean, I don't think I was allowing myself to really take the criticism as well as I do now.
Right.
I'm certainly a lot more open and more susceptible to letting people give me their ideas, and then essentially just going from there and developing these drawings that are really coming out. You know, I'd say awesome. You know, I think my drawing style right now is very loose, very open.
I agree.
You know, I think I've been able to really develop my art in a really, really great way since I've been at the shop.
And what would you say? What fuels that? Is it just being around other artists, or is it just being flooded with influence from the internet and?
Well, no. It's really just around being other artists. I'll tell you. The internet has its purposes, and it definitely
Porn.
Porn is one of them. If you're into that kind of thing. I think everybody's into that kind of thing, but
not me.
But not anymore, right?
Well, my dick is useless. I'm old, man.
Oh man, don't say that.
I just, whatever.
You're never too old.
Yeah, never too
You
old
can
to.
impregnate the world at 90, brother.
There you go.
Yeah. But certainly, it's really more the people that I'm around.
Did I just say my dick is useless on my podcast?
sure did.
You
That's
did.
man, that's awful. I did.
It's a little rough.
And your wife is going to be like, yep.
Now she'd actually stick up for me. That's the great thing about her.
You got to call in right now.
She'd be like, "It's not true. It's not true." She'd be like, "No, it's not. You just need to lose about 75 pounds." It would never. It wouldn't end with a compliment. It would
Oh,
be.
God.
She would support my dick, but then shoot something else down. Yeah, just keep me in check. But anyway.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's like kind of one of those like actor studio stupid jackass questions. If someone wants to get tattooed by Patrice, what is the? I like how he answers for you and you answer for him.
Yeah.
You guys are like the Corsican brothers of tattoo.
Yeah. We do that sometimes. Yeah.
If someone wants to get tattooed by Patrice, what is the right thing for them to say to you to get you excited about the project? And then what is the wrong thing for them to say to you to get you excited about a project?
Wow. Well, step by step is really. I guess the idea would be to come in with a fresh idea. Original ideas are always great. The idea of pulling something off of Google, the internet, of course, they're used for, once again, they serve their purpose, so they use them for reference and such. But just the idea that somebody will come in with something truly creative, something truly ordinary, something truly inspired, that can come to me and say, look, Pat, I have this idea. I like this and this and this for a theme. I have this for reference. Go, and from there, I sit down, my light box and my pen and paper, and I get to work. And I think those are truly the most inspired pieces, because then you're able to say, okay, as an artist, this is a person, this is their personality, this is what they want to see shine through the tattoo, and you can add pieces of yourself into the work.
Sure.
And that and that's a beautiful marriage. I always enjoy that aspect of the art.
And what's the wrong thing for somebody to say when they walk in and they want a tattoo from Pat?
Well, the wrong thing is always, Rihanna has this, I want this. That's always the wrong thing to say.
The guy down the block told me $20.
Yeah.
You took my answer. You took my answer.
Yeah, in one of my old shops, I had a list shit you shouldn't say in here, and that was on there. And it's on the bottom. It said, "I don't give a fuck what the guy down the block told you."
Right. I actually wanted to start one of those lists. I didn't know if I should have it in the shop. That I didn't think it would be.
No, didn't we have a list? We had a list. It was like 30 things. Not to say 30. You don't remember?
He added on our own.
That's what happens when your owner goes to college. There's 30 things on it. So, Ant, I'm going to ask you the same two questions. What is the right approach? What is the right thing for someone to say who wants to get tattooed by you, and what would be the wrong thing?
Okay. The right thing, I guess, is first and foremost, all the clients that I have that are great, it's always first, when is your next available date? They're never worried about the price. And like Pat said, he took my answer, the original, they come in with original work. It's a whole lot better when you have original work on you than what's been put out on the internet.
Well, if I may step in as the tattoo Buddha.
Sure.
What I would say to you guys, as someone I know, we've had exchanges, and you guys pretend to respect my opinion, so that's cool. I would say to you guys as a challenge, because it's been a challenge in my career, and I think it's made a difference in my career. Take the next unoriginal idea that comes in
and flip it
and make it original, because really a lot of it's on us because we're the ones with the sign outside that says tattoo artist. You know,
Sure. Nah, you're right.
you know, some plumbers coming in and they want, you know, an unoriginal idea. Well, you know, guys, I'm not going to fix a fucking toilet. You know, so I'm sure he could show me a thing or two.
Absolutely.
Right.
But that was the only thing that was going through my mind as you guys were talking is to
certainly
take those challenges sometimes. But what's hard, and you know, then you know, I want to hear Ant's the rest of your take on it. The hard thing is sometimes you'll do that original thing, and the person will come in and they'll be like, "But that's not what I brought you. I want this fucking Rihanna tattoo."
Well, that's what I was about to say. There's been so many times that we've given something a new spin,
Right.
and everybody else will be like, "Oh, that's the best, that's the greatest." And there's times we'll even take a poll in the shop, like the original picture,
Ouch.
what you did. You'll even do like two separate.
There's a poll in your shop.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, which one do you
that's
think?"
a spinoff of it.
Yeah. They're like, which one do you think they're gonna pick? And you know, we know our clients,
Right.
And I'd be like, well, he's not picking the one that I drew,
Right,
he's gonna
yeah.
pick that one that's already
Well,
there.
that's another thing I used to teach the guys that worked for me is they'd show me 2 or 3 versions of something, and they'd be like, "What do you think?" Da, 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 da. And I'd be like, "What do you think?" And they're like, "This is the one. This is the one. You know, I put my heart into. This is the one I want to do. You know, I'm going to show these to the guy." And I'm like, "No,
The one that was
just show him the one you want to do. Because if you show him more than the one you want to do, he will pick the other one every time.
right.
You show a guy 2 things: the one you want to do and the one you don't want to do.
Right.
He's picking the one you don't want to do every fucking time.
Right,
I mean, I wish it was Vegas. I'd be rich. Just hide that other shit, man. Just show them, and then really, it's really up to us to gain the trust and to project the, you know, the expertise, the professionalism, to get them to have faith in the fact that we do know better than they know because it's our business.
Absolutely.
And you know, as you know, art is aesthetic and it's subjective and all that, but you know, at the same time, you're coming to me hopefully based on some type of referral or reference or just your personal taste. You saw my work or Ant's work or Patrice's work, something about it you liked. Well, you're not getting the benefit of that if you're not taking our taste into
account.
your work.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Your piece. If you're not letting our taste, our opinion, our skill set, you know, fuse with your idea, then
It's not gonna work.
you go anywhere. You don't have to be here.
Right.
So I'm sorry, man. So, and what would you say the wrong thing is for someone to say who was going to come in and they want a tattoo from Ant?
How much is this sleeve gonna cost? How much? How much? How much? I tell people all the time, we charge by the hour. I give them the price. I'd never hear from them again. They're like, oh my God. But in reality, and I try to explain to them, listen, if I tell you, oh, this sleeve is going to cost you $2,000, right? And let's say I only charge $100 an hour, and it only takes me 8 hours to do your sleeve. So
You made out.
I made out, and you just got ripped off.
Right.
So, I mean, this way I feel like everything is, you know, legit. You know how much time you got, and you know what you're getting, you know. And, I mean, a lot of my clients now, there are a lot of big pieces, so it's just been, like, really sessions more than one-shot deals. You know, I still get the one-shot deals, but it's
He's bragging.
yeah, right. Never am I bragging. I am so humble. That's why I'm always in the cut. They're like, who did that tattoo? They'll be like, Anthony. They'll be like, who the hell is that?
Yeah. It's like
Now,
people never know he's the owner. Actually,
We're going to
It's
need
funny.
another hour to just work through Ant's issues.
Yeah. I'll walk in, I'm like, you need help? They'll be like, no, not from you.
Not from you, man.
Not from you. So they'd be like, oh, such and such, that's the owner. They'd be like, what?
Well, you know what? It fools them, man, because every owner, myself included, we're the one out front with the broom sweeping.
Yeah.
Because none of the guys that work for you are going to sweep. None of those assholes grabbed a broom. Did you ever give a broom to one of your employees? Yeah, Patrice, I'm talking about you. And they take it and they grab it with one hand. They like move it back and forth like they're stirring a swimming pool or some shit. And you're like, dude, you never pushed the broom before? No, I don't know.
We've had some people like that, but
Yeah, we definitely have.
but Pat and Rob, they know how to sweep. But we definitely had some people that we were like, yo,
That's a T-shirt. Murda Inc. We know how to sweep. Big fucking broom on it. The panther.
Exactly.
biting the broom in half.
So any parting words from Patrice as we close?
Parting words. No,
Anything
I
you want to tell the
appreciate it.
kids out there, man?
No, I mean, I definitely just appreciate the time and inviting us here.
Sure.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
It's been
absolutely.
a pleasure, certainly.
Awesome.
You come
wanna
by the shop. Yeah, come by the shop. Murda Inc. 766 Belmont Avenue, West Babylon.
Oh, what a cheap plug.
Yeah.
That it will be on the website because Patrice wasn't talking into the microphone for half of the interview. Anything else you'd like to plug, Patrice? Your Instagram or your Facebook? We're going to put all this on the site, but just so we have it.
Sure. Instagram is going to be Pen or Sword. It's PENORSWORD.
When I look at that quick, I always think it says penis word.
A lot of people do, actually. A lot of people do. That's for the illiterates in the world.
Whoa.
Need to
Hey.
That was a good shot. That was a good last shot, though, Keith. You got to admit that was a good last.
Hey, he's giving me the business. And I don't care. And what about you, Ant? Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say to the kids out there?
Yeah, follow your dream, but
that was cheesy as
It was
shit.
cheesy, but just do it right. If you want a tattoo, seek out an artist or a shop that's gonna give you an apprenticeship, and don't start it and fall through and not be dedicated, because it's only gonna hinder you in life. If you want to do it, just do it, and not the Nike quote.
All right, man. And I'm sorry. Did you have something else?
Instagram.
You said my Instagram is gonna be on this page anyway, so.
Go ahead. Say any pages, web pages you want to say. Now's the time.
Okay. We got it's Anthony_Hunter_. That's my Instagram, and we have murdaInkLI.com is the website. MURDAINKLI.
For the illiterates.
Yes.
For the illiterates.
For the illiterates.
All right, you guys are awesome. I love you guys. Thank you so
too.
much
Yeah, we
for
love you too,
coming.
brother.
And
Definitely been an honor.
This is an awesome podcast, and I'm sure people are going to really fucking enjoy hanging with you guys,
I hope
like
so.
I enjoy hanging with you guys.
Yep.
Let's hit the metal.